Today, on our look back at our most popular House of Wellness stories, we revisit our time with Michael Bublé, one of our all-time favourite guests.
Bianca Chatfield has tips for those last-minute Christmas gifts.
And My Kitchen Rules star Pete Evans is in the house.
So join us and enjoy Christmas just that little bit more.
Let's all get well, stay well, live well and look fabulous right here in the House of Wellness. G'day there, everybody. Welcome to the show. Well, Christmas is definitely in the air, isn't it? I feel that we're all pretty chilled out on the sofa, guys. What do you reckon?
Yes, we are, but I'm well and truly into the Christmas spirit, which for me means eating. And I plan to have a big old lunch and a little snoozle after lunch every day from now through to New Year's Day.
Every day.
That can't be easy work.
Oh, mate, when I set a challenge for myself, I commit to it.
I might commit to that one.
Up to that goal.
And I agree, Joe, because, you know, I'm very busy over Christmas lunch, having lunch served to me. But the snooze is a very important part of the afternoon. But at least no one's rolled out that old chestnut of standing under mistletoe and seeking to kiss everybody who goes by.
Oh, no. We wouldn't want any of that kind of strange behaviour, would we, Bianca?
No. Fun fact, mistletoe, my two eldest brothers were born on September 25, 2 years apart.
No.
When you work back 9 months, that's Christmas Eve under the mistletoe for Mum.
Mr. and Mrs.
careful.
Phillips.
Okay. All right, so Bianca, tell us, what are you bringing to the show today?
Well, I've been busy compiling my list to help everyone with that crazy tradition of leaving everything to the last minute, and that is definitely me.
And I believe you had a very special helper. Tell me more.
I did. I couldn't believe that this particular man was free to come shopping with me in December.
Oh, okay, but let's kick off the show with one of this year's stories that surprised a lot of people, including me. It was James Tobin's piece about how much our noses can tell about our general well-being.
There's just so much to love about the beach, isn't there? The sound of the waves crashing against the shore, the feeling of the sand beneath your toes. But for me, it's the sense of smell that really takes me straight back to those great childhood memories. What is it about the sense of smell that's just so powerful? For many of us, every day begins with a cup of strong, freshly ground coffee. And there's something that's always bugged me. Isn't it funny how some tastes and smells just don't match up? Coffee's an example, and cheese, if it tasted like it smelled, you wouldn't eat it. Turns out, even though taste and smell are closely linked, they're both very different senses.
You don't really get a strong sense of flavour just from stimulating your taste buds. It really have to recruit your olfactory or smell centre to get that strong flavour. The olfactory system, being one of those primitive parts of our human body, actually has over 1,000 genes dedicated to olfactory receptors. It's an amazing amount of genetic information.
I'm catching up with perfumer Sally Woodward-Hawes, who's designing a scent just for me. So this is basically the process that all those celebrities that have their own perfume, this is what they do.
Yes.
They'd sit with someone like you, a professional, and say a little bit more of this, a little bit less of that.
Yes. Yeah.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
Creating perfumes is an interesting art form because it triggers emotional responses differently to music or visual mediums.
You know, a lot of people want to create a fragrance for all different reasons, but I find 90% of their reasons are emotional reasons.
In fact, it's the reason Sally got into the business in the first place.
My mother passed away when I was 17. And it wasn't until maybe 3 or 4 years later that I opened up her cosmetics box that she had, and inside were about 3 or 4 bottles of perfume. And that was literally like, I smelt these fragrances and it was like she was right there. And I just thought, this is what I want to do with my life.
Is it true that smell has a greater link to memory than any other sense?
You know, there's good evidence that your smell centre is linked to parts of a very primitive component of your brain called the limbic system. And so therefore, we believe the limbic system has pathways that link into the temporal lobe, which is where our memories are, and it stimulates these phenomena of recollection and reminiscence of previous events.
Getting to know your nose is a fascinating experience.
It's not pleasant.
Dr. Raquel Alvarado from the Sydney ENT Clinic works with Professor Harvey to analyse patients' olfactory systems.
Peppermint.
I'm being blind tested with a series of well-known aromas.
How did I go?
Out of the 16, you were able to identify them all except for 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My sense of smell is working pretty well. But when Dr. Alvarado tests my sense of taste, well, let's just say maybe I should have cut down on the spicy foods.
Like, it just tastes like paper.
Once again, I'm reminded that the enjoyment of food is determined by smell far more than taste.
Is it possible to train your sense of smell to become better?
I believe it to be absolutely true because we actually have clinical data to show that people who've had impaired or injured olfactory systems can actually improve it by undergoing olfactory retraining.
And finally, if you're in any doubt about the power of our nose to warn us of impending danger, there is another element to our sense of smell that can't be ignored.
One significant phenomenon that does exist in our community is that smell loss can precede some forms of degenerative brain disease, such as Alzheimer's and dementia. And the typical ages here are often younger than you think, in their 50s or 60s. And if it's associated with significant memory loss, loss of other cognitive abilities, there are investigations you can have to see whether or not you might be at risk as someone with early degenerative brain changes, such as Alzheimer's or dementia.
Really interesting point to finish on there. It's probably the least appreciated of our 5 senses, isn't it? But really important link there with our brain health. And James was onto it. My favourite smell coming home over the last 10, 12 days is the Christmas tree at home.
Yes, I agree.
Love it. Yum.
Well, I think that smell of pine needles is on the list of favourite scents, with things like baked bread and mown grass and coffee. And for me, it's sawdust. Because my grandpa used to have a workbench, and so whenever I smell sawdust, I think of him making things when I was a child. So it's all associated with memories.
You know, I have a perfume, because it's fragrance time of year, that you buy something for someone special for my wedding, and every time I put it on, it reminds me of that day.
Memories. And don't forget, you can keep your nose clean, which is an old expression. So we cleaned everything else. But you can actually use an isotonic saline without a preservative, to keep that area in there nice and clean.
Not just the finger? Asking the professional.
You know, as a chef,
Use a tissue.
tissues are better. Yeah. And as a chef, you've got to remember that often we lead by our sense of smell, and that actually triggers our taste as well. So that increases the saliva.
Is that rude for me to stick my schnoz in someone else's bowl and go,
not at all.
Give me a smell?
I'm the first to do that.
There we go. Let's take a quick break. There's plenty more to come here. Christmas is looming here on the House of Wellness.
When we return, our favourite celebrity man, the charming and entertaining Michael Bublé.
And later, a healthy 2019 through the eyes of chef and TV star Pete Evans.
And I'm still here too, ladies. Thanks. More of our best of the House of Wellness 2018 coming up.
Welcome back to the House of Wellness. Now, quick question, everybody. What do you think is the sound of an Aussie Christmas?
Oh, can I fire away? I've got 2 rambunctious boys. Last few years, bap, 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 Nerf gun bullets hitting Dad in the back.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say cicadas.
Oh, yeah.
Or cicadas.
Yeah, depending
I'd say cicadas, but cicadas.
I would say cicada.
I would say backyard cricket, you know, with everyone cheering and being competitive.
This is my softer side, carols.
Oh, yes!
First thing in the morning.
Beautiful. Mine used to be the popping of champagne corks before I had a child. So now it is literally Emily just talking endlessly about Christmas, which is definitely healthier and nicer.
It is lovely. Well, you mentioned carols.
Yes, I did.
GQ, because for me it's the sound of Michael Bublé's Christmas carols. It's on endless rotation. I started at 8 a.m. I cannot cook a turkey without it. You know that album has been in the annual ARIA Top 10 charts every year since 2012.
Wow.
We love
That's
the boob
incredible.
here in Australia, and I think there's at least one copy in every Australian
Oh,
home.
good.
I've got one.
You've got one?
got one.
You've got one?
Yeah, I've got
Well,
one.
look,
Downloaded it.
Yeah, there you go.
quick server, there's seriously no doubt Mr Bublé is very popular, and not just because of his Christmas carols. When he was on our show a little earlier this year, he absolutely charmed everyone with his warmth and his sense of humour. Oh. Well, our next guest has been stealing the hearts of women all over the world, you thieving scoundrel with his crooning ballads.
This 4-time Grammy winner is here to talk about his music, family life, and his new fragrance. It's Michael Bublé.
Yes.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Honestly, you've
Thank
been
you.
dazzling our senses, our ears have enjoyed your crooning, our eyes dazzled by your handsomeness, fragrances now for our nose. If I could just reach out and touch you, that'd be one more.
That's we've only spent minutes together,
Oh, no, thank you.
and I'm deeply in love with you already, both of you.
I mean, there's something
It's
special
like your
about-
eyes are like a tractor beam.
You know what it
I
is?
have been sucked in, sir, and I never want to leave your arms ever.
Okay. If you could I just shift in there?
I'm feeling really awkward right now.
You're also.
I'm in
Please.
the wrong place.
This is classic stuff between Canadians and Aussies. Just we kind of get on, don't we? And it's
Yeah.
about time you were back here.
I am so comfortable here, and I think that there's this wonderful way and this great sense of humor and this sense of kindness and compassion where you're not afraid to be yourselves. And I think it's, oh God, I feel too comfortable here.
Thank
I
God
think
you-
we feel like Australians and Canadians are kind of similar.
Yeah.
Would that be true?
Oh, absolutely. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I think we are. So it's a reason why half my Canadian friends come here on like little visa work permit things and then never ever leave. And why so many of my Australian friends now, if you go to Whistler, it's called in Vancouver, just outside of Vancouver, it's a ski resort, and I will call down for breakfast if I stay there, and it's always hello, Ari. It's the first thing I hear. Hello, Ari. You know, it's this very. I know I sound like a didgeridoo when I do it, but
No, you do a good accent. I introduced myself to you. Hi,
I like
I'm
that you
Jo.
said hi, Jory.
Yes. Now, we are so excited about your new album, Love. It is your 8th album, but is there something... Why is that terrifying?
I just
You're looking
realised
at
how
me.
old I am.
Yeah.
Oh
it
my
is a
God,
way
really?
to date you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is there something special about this album, Love?
You know what? Every album, I think, is a snapshot of the experience you've been through, where you are and where you're going. And I think that this is, I don't think there's ever been a sort of a better example of that than this record. Obviously, I've gone through, my family have gone through, you know, an intense struggle. And when you're a public person, it also becomes public. And so to acknowledge it is the only possible way for anyone to understand how, you know, how much it impacts you and affects your life. And it would be impossible for it not to change my life. And so this record was really a way of me taking the experience and sort of finding a way to therapeutically put down on an acetate how I felt and my gratitude. I really, listen, the world is a crazy place, and everybody knows, everybody watching at home right now knows that it needs love, you know? It needs some baby-making music, and and I was really, I'm happy to be able to, I really am, I love this stuff a lot.
It's
so.
come along in a little bundle about 7 weeks ago, your new daughter.
Yes.
And please tell us, for everyone, that you're going to be the soccer dad trying to do the maths of getting 3 kids to sports across the weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Newborn little Vida. How's
Yeah,
it?
it's a, you know, what you can't know is that, I mean, until I tell you, is that I love it. I love being a parent. I have she's a month and a half old.
Yep.
I have 2 little boys, 2 and 5. And so, you know, being able to come here to Australia is the greatest paid vacation I have ever been on in my life.
Have there been any texts from the wifey saying, how's the publicity tour going? Coincidence? Baby 7 weeks old.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. She actually does say, she'll say, I mean, this morning was, gosh, I'm so mixed up with time, but it was, she had taken one of my sons to school, and she actually said, "How are you enjoying your holiday?" And I've been doing press since early morning. I hope you're enjoying your time. I say like, yeah.
There, of course, is the fragrance Pinot Noir, which is beautiful. I've had a little spritz, and I must say, when you are a housewife,
Yeah.
you like a little something to lift you in your day. Did you ever imagine that you'd be designing fragrances as well?
It's so funny. At 16 years old, working on my father's fishing boat, with my hat on backwards, there were many things that I envisioned that could happen in my life potentially. And being a perfumer, someone with his own brand of fragrances was not on my radar. Can you imagine how ridiculous that would have been for me
Well,
as a
absolutely,
kid?
particularly on a fishing boat, which has its own scent, you know.
Yes, it does, yeah.
I mean, I think you missed the opportunity to call it bubbly. What the heck? But, I mean, that's nice. Pinot Noir.
I've been really lucky with the... I really have been lucky with a group of people that, when this first came, I had gotten an email from my manager, and he had said, do you have any interest in creating a fragrance? And honestly, I wrote back quickly and said, no, I don't. It was so far out of my comfort zone, and the only celebrity I had known, male, who had his own fragrance was Antonio Banderas. So it was so foreign to me, and I ended up going down and meeting with the perfumers, and I ended up saying, what I ended up saying to my manager and everyone else was, listen, I must be involved. If I'm going to go and speak about this, if they're going to put my name on it, it can't be something where they create a brand and then I go and hawk it. I couldn't do it. I didn't have the stomach to do it.
So you're in the lab?
I was, yeah. Oh. I really was. And you know what? There was more than just being in the lab, because I was even, I was pretty, it's funny, I'm not difficult to work with, but even the packaging was something that I really cared about.
Well, first review is in. Love it.
You like it?
Delicious.
I like it too, for Canadians. I mean, if there are Canadians out there, I love that. Not only is it obviously a great
I've just
smell.
realised what it is.
It's a hockey puck.
It is a hockey puck.
Oh, get
You are hilarious.
It is not.
I didn't mean for
You
that
are
to happen,
funny.
but I am now forever grateful they
Yeah,
have
yeah.
created a hockey puck.
Oh, that is wonderful.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mate, we're so grateful you're here. It's lovely to see you in the flesh. The legend has been here with us. It's been great meeting you. That's you, Michael. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That was a lot of gushing. I'm saying both ways, you and...
He just really looks at you, like
At
deep
us.
in your eyes.
Were you there?
Yes. Were you there?
I just saw you and Bublé having a conversation, like a little bit flirtatious, could I say?
Well, it would be
Yes,
rude
I
for me
think
not
so.
to, respond.
Engage.
Engage. That's what
course.
happens in interviews.
Well, you're not the only one who got an interview. We did a radio interview, and he definitely, not that he paid me any attention, but he has a lovely...
Stop!
It was all Andy's
He
time.
couldn't see you, that's why.
But it was this beautiful, laconic voice that he has. It's very musical, his voice.
Oh, he's a crooner. He's heaven. Oh,
Okay.
I mean,
All right, I get it. I get it. I get it. Michael's funny, he's lovely, he's handsome,
jealous,
he's
it's all right.
talented. I'm sure your girls would all love to be unwrapping him Christmas morning.
Right, do you mean? I mean, you must mean his new album, obviously.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes, I feel like you're a little bit jealous there, Ed.
Okay.
We might need to take a break, though, so we can maybe watch that interview again. Let's Google him.
You can do that at home, Joe.
Up next, Bianca has some special help choosing gifts for the loved ones in your life.
Oh, and there he is. Hey, Pete Evans, the celebrity chef and TV star, has the perfect Christmas gift suggestion.
The Christmas celebrations continue when we return on the House of Wellness. Welcome back to the House of Wellness. Now, there are people watching who were really well prepared this year and finished their Christmas shopping weeks ago. To both of you, congratulations. There is one amongst us who finished in October. Seriously, what is going on?
I'm excited.
For the rest of us, Bianca has come to the rescue.
I sure have. I've been looking at some great gift ideas for the loved ones in your life, and you will not believe the special helper I had. The holidays are time for gratitude, celebrations, family and friends, and of course gifts. But we often forget to put in a lot of time when we're buying gifts for everybody. I've had to call in the expert, the guy that knows everything about buying Christmas presents. It's like Elton John is to pop music. This guy is the expert. Where is he? I need to find him.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ah, hello.
Hello, Bianca.
You must be very good at picking the right Christmas present.
Bianca, you're right. I really am.
What is a tip that you have for buying for our friends or our workmates?
Well, what I suggest is if you take a few minutes to jot down their names and beside their names put something you think might interest them, you're sure to get a good result.
Firstly, I'm looking for something for my best friend.
Does she have a passion? What does she love?
Well, she loves flowers.
Really?
So I was thinking the festive floral perfumes could be a great idea. This beautiful Burberry London is all about jasmine and rose, or this Marc Jacobs Daisy has a beautiful scent of jasmine.
You also need to think about what your friends might need. Rudolph, for instance, is very embarrassed about his shiny red nose. So a Nude by Nature complexion kit would be just the ticket for him.
Best of all, Nude by Nature is a collection of makeup that's good for you. It's made using natural Australian ingredients and the brushes are all cruelty-free. Santa, have you worked out where you're getting the elves yet? Because I could highly recommend House 99 by David Beckham, a collection of grooming products for men.
When you're choosing gifts for the men in your life, choose something they can use every day. It'll have more impact.
Santa, I need some help with what I can get my sisters.
When you're shopping for family, watch what they do during the year, look for the things they admire, and make a note of it.
Well, in that case, I think the Trilogy Rosehip Celebration set would be perfect. Can you put that in the sack for them?
Certainly will.
Actually, I've got my eye on Armani C. Do you think you could put one of those in your sack for me?
Absolutely. And while I'm at it, I'll take one for Mrs. Claus.
I promise you, she's gonna love it. Hey, Santa, I guess if you can't decide, there's always gift cards.
That's a great idea, Bianca. I wish everybody would go for gift cards. They're light in my sack, and it's easy to get down the chimneys.
Santa's coming.
Thank goodness. We need his sack to be light because he's got lots of places to travel.
Yes.
You know, I knew you were connected, Bianca. I knew you ran in high circles. But Santa? Shopping?
Yeah.
You know what was the best line? What is her passion? I love that he thinks about that for each of us.
Yes.
What are their passions?
So deep and thoughtful, wasn't he?
I quite liked that Santa was conscious of his T-zone and wanted to just cover his nose up a little bit.
That was Rudolph. That was the reindeers.
Are you sure he wasn't meaning his own after a bit of Christmas eggnog from Mrs. Claus?
I do think it's important, though, when you're deciding on a gift, passion, interests, or what's super helpful, because what is something I'm always looking for? Phone charger. So I reckon, like gifts, don't you find? You've always got, I wish I had a charger. So you can get those portable chargers, I think, are really good gifts. You get it, you're all getting one.
And you know what else is a great gift? One Stop Shop is just fragrance. You can just get like you saw there, everyone is covered because you guys are going to have nothing to get, so you can just go in there and get all your prezzies at once.
Yeah.
By the way, did you get anything for us while you were shopping?
I did get you some things, but you just have to wait.
I hope mine's fragrant.
Well, let's get to a quick break, shall we, here on the House of Wellness? But don't go away, lots more to come after this. Next, one of our favourite recipes, the mouth-watering chicken satay bowl.
And there he is, Pete Evans, on the way to our studio now to tell us why we need to eat our greens.
That's right, we're keeping healthy and the Christmas cheer going when we return on the House of Wellness.
This week, we're putting a healthy spin on chicken satay with a spotlight on coconut oil, rich in flavour and energy. The satay sauce is a combination of peanut butter, lime juice, maple syrup, bone broth powder and hot chilli, whisked till smooth and creamy. Next, we melt coconut oil in a pan, add garlic and turmeric and stir in cauliflower florets. Squeeze in lime juice and cook for 2 minutes. Assemble your Nourish bowl on a bed of brown rice and spinach, along with fresh veggies, shredded chicken breast, sesame seeds and pepitas, and your satay sauce. And finally, garnish with coriander and sprouts. Delicious.
Little confession, my new love of this year has been the collie, loving the collie. That was one of my favourite recipes though, the chicken satay Nourish bowl.
Now, a question we often get, Zoe, is how easy is it to convert a meal like this into a veggie or a vegan recipe?
Just take the meat out.
Listen, you're not the professional. Let Zoe answer.
It is actually surprisingly easy to convert a lot of meals, which is quite good to know. So obviously in that particular recipe we had the bone broth, which we'd either take into a vegetable stock, or we might add a little bit more tamari soya sauce, because essentially what that is, it's the seasoning, it's the salt, it's the base that you really need to kind of prop up the rest of the meal.
Just take the chicken out.
And the other thing, obviously, you would take the chicken out. But again, I'm a big fan of having a lot of plant-based protein in people's meals. It's very, satisfying. It keeps us fuller for longer, good for GI as well. So you could do tofu, your beans, tempeh. Be creative, or just simply more vegetables.
Delicious. And of course, if you want more of those types of recipes, or you want to find out any of Zoe's creations, head to our website. There you can ask Gerald questions, listen to our radio version of the House of Wellness, anything else. Great portal for all your health. houseofwellness.com.au. Now, it's A to Z of vitamins time. Previously, we've talked about food groups that contain additional health benefits, and of course, being a busy time of year, what should we add to our diet maybe to boost up our immune system function, maybe keep those summer sniffles away and feel a bit healthier?
It's fascinating, isn't it? We've been talking about food and whole food and food as medicine. And what greater example is honey to that, where you've got the bee floating around, spots something, goes down, picks up pollen, takes it back. It's all converted into this beautiful, beautiful natural food.
Oh, yeah.
And when we talk about honey, there are two types, right? There's regular honey and then there's Manuka honey.
Well, lots of different types, but there's two of them.
But you know what I mean. Qualities are different to like the honey you might put on a piece of toast and then the honey that you're going to eat to kind of boost your system.
And we need to make sure, Zoe, we're buying quality honey. So it's got to be because there are some honeys.
What does that mean?
Well, it means you buy it from a trusted source. So if we're talking Manuka, that's particularly from Australia and New Zealand, from particular bush, so the Manuka bush, and that produces a honey with magnificent antibacterial content.
That's what I wanted to bring up. These are active ingredients,
active ingredients.
Right?
So good for our tummy, good for so
our
many
immunity.
Things. Yeah.
Okay.
And good for healing wounds as well.
Put some honey on a splinter.
Good first aid kit to have at home is some Manuka honey.
Amazing. So there's different grades of Manuka honey. Do they look and taste different?
The taste varies a little, but they're graded to their antibacterial action compared to a standard that there is that it actually involves golden staph. And then there's grading. So you see a 5+ or a 10+ or a 15+, which is the particular antibacterial grading that we're referring to.
Because, I do have really high-grade Manuka at home, and it does have a slightly medicinal taste. It's not something that I would necessarily put on a piece of toast. I know you can, but it's different. It's kind of, you take it as a...
I was going to say, how do you eat it?
Just I have a teaspoon. I'll put it in a lemon honey drink for a sore throat.
Great for sore throats too.
Food is medicine, Zoe. Can we incorporate it into cooking?
Don't discount. I actually put it into salad dressings, or I might incorporate it into some other kind of marinade. It's a beautiful flavour. I really like it.
Yeah, all righty. Perfect. Great advice, you guys. Thanks for that. The A to Z of vitamins, of course, brought to us by Barnes Naturals. Barnes Naturals only use nature's purest ingredients to craft their range of naturally active health food. OK, guys, let's take a little break. We've got more coming up in just a sec here on the House of Wellness. And Christmas is coming. Yeah. Getting excited. Welcome back. Well, our next guest has a list of achievements longer than your arm, and I'm picturing you with a mighty long arm. He is a chef, a TV star, an author, a diet guru. Oh, you're probably going to hate me saying that, but I'll say it anyway, and so much more.
And, of course, you're adding to the list of your achievements. You're a good friend of mine. Welcome, Pete. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. And I don't know what about the hairy arms?
The hairy arms.
Mate, I'm wondering what the Evans clan does for Christmas. I'm assuming some of it's spent quite near the beach, of course, but you can go to the farm too.
Yeah, pretty simple, actually. Every day is Christmas for us, and it's whenever we're together, it's awesome. Even this morning, we went for a walk down the beach with our dog and had a swim in the ocean. And
nice.
How good's life?
And life is good. And you know what? Christmas for me is food, and you are food. So I'm assuming...
Well, I don't know whether I'm food.
You'd be delicious.
So some creatures out there, you're definitely food.
What is... So if every day is Christmas... Yeah. If every day is Christmas, on actual Christmas Day, do you make something specific, or do you just go with whatever you're vibing?
Whatever. Usually it's pretty much the same as any day.
What is it? What is it like?
It could be a roast, it could be a barbecue, it could be a salad, it could be some seafood.
You just flick through and you just go, yeah, today we're having chicken basque with olives and artichoke.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love that.
Pretty much, pretty simple. Maybe some oysters if we want to really splurge.
Nice. Now, Pete, I don't want you to think I say this to all our guests, but you are genuinely on my Christmas list this year with this book, Eat Your Greens. I was looking at it in the bookshop 2 days ago because I love sides and I love veggies, but I never know how to make them seem anything but steamed and boring. So I love this.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite books, actually. As chefs, we love to play with vegetables when they're in season and turn them into superstars. I mean, that's what we love. Obviously meat and seafood and egg dishes as well, but vegetables are often overlooked in the family home. So I wanted to do a book that was based, it's not a purely vegetarian book. There's bits of bacon in there, or there could be some salmon roe, or there could be some eggs in there as well. But they're really just recipes that highlight delicious in-season vegetables and make you want to eat them.
And also, because it's on my list, I might just take that.
No, that one,
They've bags it as well.
And the purpose of that was to serve some meat or seafood next to it.
Yeah, always.
And it's also, you know, in my household, we're really trying to cut down on a bit of meat, so this will give you some good ideas. Someone that's not cutting down on the meat is the doggies.
Yeah, no,
now,
they should
this
never.
is very, very interesting, is your new range of dog and cat foods. Yeah. We've got everything from a bone broth to regular food, but it is densely packed with nutrients and treats and all the other bits and pieces.
Well, they're Australian made. We don't skimp on the quality, like absolute fantastic quality that goes into it. And we've got a wet range, a dry range. We have organ treats, which I tell you what.
Is this your favourite, the organ treat? Because I heard that you do eat some of the dog food.
It's not like I come home from work.
Food. You want to see what will happen here as well.
Well, we've got some lamb bites and there's some beef bites there. Made some.
Are you really going to do this?
Eat a lamb bite.
Well, put it this way, I don't come home and sit in front of the television
and snap on them.
open it up.
Give me a lamb bite.
So healthy everyday pets, obviously it is human.
This is lamb heart.
Is it as good as?
No.
As soon as you're going to eat it, I want to see.
It's
he's eating it.
Is it dehydrated lamb? No, I love you and I love your work. This is...
Sit.
I have to... Don't want to treat them. Okay, the thing I needed to bring up, though, is just let me say the whole sentence before you jump down my throat, is I had a vegan dog, right?
Well... Did they finish this? Is that the sentence
No, it's not finished.
Okay.
She was very unwell from a puppy, and we learnt that she wasn't able to break down animal protein, so she was on a special diet. She grew out of that. But what we did learn was there is so much crap in dog foods that are just you can generally access.
Yeah.
Is this a reason for the product?
Well, number one, it's really to change the marketplace because there is so much unhealthy food that is available for dogs and cats.
They call it the McDonald's for the dog.
It's junk food, basically. If you go into
it's quite scary.
If you go to a supermarket or a pet food store, a lot of it I would consider junk food. And all you need to do is read the label that's on the back and take some common sense and go, Does a dog really, should a dog be eating that or should a cat be eating that? And there's wonderful books written by vets out there that can educate you how to cook or prepare food, raw food, for your dog and cat at home. And this is a wonderful solution for people.
I love this bone broth because is this something that I could attach in my food? Is it that good?
We could have it, not a problem. And that's the thing. Any of this food, I mean, it's not for human consumption, but it's human grade.
Yeah.
So it's of the highest quality, and the bone broth is another great thing. You know, dogs' bones, they like that.
Now, we're talking about cooking for animals. You are just finishing up MKR.
Big show on TV.
Oh my gosh, one of my faves. And I'm not just saying that because you're here. It's a big commitment though, because I've got to watch it every night. How are they this year? Give me a little bit of goss. Give me a little bit of crazy. You know I love a crazy on a show.
Well, we have something for everybody, including you, Zoe, this year. So I think you'll be very happy with the lineup of the cooks. So if you love passionate home cooks, we have that for you. Right. If you like a little bit of drama, we will have a little bit of that for you. If you want the tears, if you want the emotion, if you want the joy, the celebration, we have the perfect recipe, which is why 10 years later, it's still running. And this year is awesome.
Can I grab that book? Because we might give some copies away.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So I'll take yours.
One for Joe, one for Zoe.
We've got 5 copies to give away, if that's
three.
okay.
No.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just head to our website, houseofwellness.com.au for all the details. Fantastic stuff. Pete, great to see you, mate. Thank you so much. Have a great Christmas.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody too.
Can't wait to see you on MKR before too long. Guys, we're going to be back with more of our top House of Wellness stories right after this quick break.
Our volunteers are people that have a heart. They're people that care about the community. And they're people who've learnt the secret that giving back brings a lot of joy in itself. They're happy people, and their well-being has been enhanced by doing something meaningful for others. Our mission is to rescue food that would otherwise be wasted and to cook it into beautiful, nutritious meals for people who need it. We rescue something like 800 tonnes of surplus quality food a year, and we cook that into about 1.2 million meals. And we hear some harrowing stories of people who find themselves in really desperate circumstances from no fault of their own.
I love rescuing food for a start, and feeding people that really need nutritious, delicious food, and working with our volunteers. It's amazing the amount of people that come in here and want to spend their time helping other people.
Over 800, to my knowledge, that are involved in volunteering at FareShare, whether it's doing a food prep shift, cleaning shift, drivers, sorting stuff, people working in the FareShare gardens that we have. So it's a big volunteer base.
I really like coming here. It's completely different to everything else I do in my life, and I can't stand seeing food wasted, and this is just fabulous. It makes me very happy. It's a joy to come here.
You've got good people coming together to make a difference, and there's something very powerful about that. So we see some wonderful friendships baked in our kitchen. We all know it's fantastic for your well-being. There's been a lot of research that actually shows that volunteers are happier people, and that giving often has more pleasure than receiving. And it might be a secret, but we've discovered it here, and our volunteers are generally a very happy bunch of people.
Very, very rewarding, and you do feel very fulfilled when you walk through the door.
Such an important point there at the end. The joy of giving helps you mentally as well. It fills me with joy seeing the remarkable work of the FareShare folks. It's like the true spirit of Christmas.
That is the true spirit of Christmas.
But it runs every day of the year.
God, they're good.
Yes.
You know, I love them so much. And since we met them last year, they had a big news for us. Lucy Farmer from FareShare sent us this little update.
Well, it's been a really big year here at FareShare. 6 months ago, we were cooking about 5,000 meals a day here in this kitchen. Today, we're cooking 6,000. That's an extra 1,000 meals for people doing it tough. Meals that FareShare is creating out of rescue food that would otherwise end up in landfill. But more importantly, we've opened a second kitchen up in Brisbane, and that's enabled us to double our social impact. By the end of next year, we hope to be cooking about 2.5 million meals a year.
Amazing.
Such an important reminder that this time of year is a time to also give back. So if you're wondering, what am I going to do and who am I going to give back to? Fair share.
Yep.
You can take all your donations.
Or you could give to us. I'm just saying.
And it's now my turn, isn't it? It's my turn to give gifts to all of my workmates. Now, I'm going to start off with you first, Zoe.
Oh, hello.
You've spoken a lot about fragrances today, so I think you should open yours.
Wow.
I couldn't choose one. I had to choose two. So you've got Dolce & Gabbana, The One, and Marc Jacobs Daisy. Now, over to you, Jo.
Oh, yes.
I know you love your natural skincare products.
I do.
So I hope you love this one.
Oh, this is
the
beautiful.
Trilogy Rosehip Oil Pack.
Oh, wow.
Use that over summer.
Your face.
Protect your skin.
Yeah, and I love that it's got that night cream, which I go to bed just going,
Love
I'll
it.
wake up
Smother it
younger.
up. Yeah. And you do. And GQ, you're the most high maintenance person on this couch. So I thought
Thank you, Bianca.
I had to get you everything in the House 99 by David Beckham range.
House of 99.
You have everything.
What about the eye gels? I love the eye gel.
Have you used the eye gel? And they've got some beard oil in there for
Do
you.
I get some eye gel?
I've used the beard oil.
in here. Okay, there's so much in here. I'll help you, GQ.
Yes, but you do give it back to me, though.
Oh, and there's a perfume.
It's an Aqua Giorgio as well.
And Zoe, you haven't missed out. If you open up your present, I've got you the Sukin Purely Ageist gift pack.
Oh, how exciting.
There is so much in there for you.
This Sukin range is beyond Zoe. So it comes in a two-step gift set, which will help fight the signs of ageing after only 14 days, because you want that quick fix. Not you necessarily.
What are you trying to say? But anyway.
They've got the Purely Ageless Rejuvenating Day Cream and a Restorative Night Cream that are rich in white hibiscus, baobab and pure ribose. And the Love Your Skin three-piece gift set has products packed full of active botanicals, which I knew you'd love. I didn't buy it. And it's got essential oils and natural ingredients that make up a really simple three-step skincare routine. So good job, Bianca.
And Ed, don't worry, I haven't left you out. I know we caused you a great deal of stress on this show.
You do?
So I thought it was important that we got you something to check that blood pressure.
Oh, right.
It's exactly what you wanted.
How lucky are you, Ed? You've got the anti-ageing products as well, and you've got the...
This looks like the smart high-tech way to check your blood pressure too, right? Now, you don't have to be in your 50s, 60s, 70s to worry about younger, 30s.
And checking blood pressure at home is a wonderful way across the day of checking blood pressure. This is an amazing model. This you can connect to your phone, you can keep the readings, you can take them along, discuss them with your doctor. It's all Bluetooth operated, amazing technology.
That is clever. You do stress me out, you guys. But anyway, we'll be back on Christmas Eve to really ramp up the stress, because that's when everyone gets a bit overexcited, right? It is all we've got time for today. Thanks to everyone, and thanks to our friends at Chemist Warehouse as well. See you with Santa coming down the chimney before too long. That's next time on the House of Wellness. Christmas Eve coming up.